Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, April 2nd. I'm Jimmy Prince for the details. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Dr. Gonsalves, after presenting the 2014 supplementary budget estimates in the sum of 83.9 million EC dollars, says it will show a good spirit if both the government and opposition can give unanimous support to the new estimates. Speaking on the specific areas of spending for the $83.9 million, Prime Minister Gonsalves stated that $11 million is for recurrent expenditure, while the remaining $72.9 million will be spent on capital projects, with special emphasis on housing, agriculture, and repairs to roads and bridges.
The supplementary budget is allocated across 4 ministries. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, $6.09 million or 8.3% of the capital supplementary estimates. The Ministry of Agriculture, $2.8 million, just 3.8%. Mr. Speaker, I should add, money for instance like the $6 million for the farmers. That's not in the supplementary because that is inside of these estimates which had already passed. But we have $2.8 million in the Ministry of Agriculture, and I'll come to that. The Ministry of Transport and Works, $44 million of capital money, so that when you add the 11 million recurrent and the $44 million capital, you see the Ministry of Work has $55 million. On the capital side, the 44 million is 60.3% of the capital supplementaries. The Ministry of Housing, $20.09 million or 27.5%.
And the leader of the opposition, Arnhim, Eustace, argues that the total amount for the new estimates now pushes the 2014 budget up from $911 million to $995 million.
It carries us to the largest budget we have ever had in this country once this is improved. But as so often the case, Mr. Speaker, large budgets since invention are followed by a reduction of 200 million or more in the following year. We don't clap for it. It's a shame. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the fact, that the projects are presented here before us. I have no difficulty with that. But I'm looking at it in a particular context.
Still in Parliament, Area Representative for Central Kingstown, Clair Leacock, earlier today told the Parliament that his recent medical challenge was a humbling experience. Leacock, while giving a special report on his health, explains that a retinal tear, which is an injury to the back of his eye, and has since undergone a number of surgeries to fully restore his vision.
I had retinal surgery on my eyes. I have made extremely good recovery. I've been back there in March, and I'll be back out on one more occasion, hopefully April, to complete all that is taking place. As you see, the correction is as such that I've gone past the glasses that I've worn for the last so many years. If you permit me, by the way, Mr. Speaker, it was 1969 on the range in Trinidad and Tobago that Stalky John knew he only could see out of one eye at a time. He was an excellent marksman, and I discovered I couldn't see the bull on the target. So that's when both of us went to glasses, way back then. There's so much history to be shared. And so, Mr. Speaker, I have made what I believe is very full recovery. It's been a very humbling experience for one to understand the importance of vision in one's life. You almost feel to say without it you're dead. You almost feel to say, but clearly that is not the case, Mr. Speaker. I pray for those, Mr. Speaker, who have taken my medical illness to the political platforms and their disparagement. We don't play with these things, because in one swoop in December, all of my earnings as a parliamentarian went up in medical fees.
And commenting on Leacock's medical condition, Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, Dr. Gonsalves, again spoke of the need for a contributory health insurance system for parliamentarians, both past and present. Dr. Gonsalves explains that Leacock should not be paying for reasonable medical expenses, as such costs should be borne by the state.
I want to give this House the assurance that any member of this Honourable House, present or past, who has any problems with their health and have to seek medical attention and do not have any private insurance and incur expenses, that as Minister of Finance, I will authorize a reimbursement for all reasonable expenses for health. Since we don't have it as a matter of law, we have to do it as a matter of policy. And I'm telling you what the policy of this government is, and of this Prime Minister, and of this Minister of Finance. So I speak it publicly so that everybody can hear me about it. They can go and say that I'm giving special treatment to parliamentarians. I'm not. I'm giving sensible treatment, deserving treatment.
While he acknowledges the attempt to deal with all damage done to the riverbanks, roads and bridges, Opposition MP for West Kingstown, Daniel Cummings, says he is very disappointed about the preventative aspect. Speaking in the House of Assembly today, Cummings noted that he is delighted that there is a component for reforestation, but it is too small.
This is a matter that calls out for some serious work. We have to protect our hills. We have to get back to zoning and preventing the denuding of our hills. It affects our lives in so many ways. It affects our rainfall pattern. It affects what happened in the seas with our coral reef. It affects our lives in so many negative ways, Mr. Speaker, and I urge that we would find ways, whether in conjunction with private sector and other international or other agencies, to refocus our attention on preserving our blessed land in the hills.
Cummings noted that he would not like to see the bridges rebuilt and then to have them removed a few years later.
For the same process. And that is my real concern. I also want to see us, Mr. Speaker, pay far more attention to the design of these bridges in relation to the level of the roadways. We are not following acceptable standards for the raising of the bridges above, substantially above the water course, so that, as happened last time, when we do get floods, at least the bridges could remain, because oftentimes that is the most critical factor in getting relief to the different parts.
In other news, Minister of Culture Cecil Mc Kie has deemed the St. Vincent Distillers Awards for Best Rum a significant achievement for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Speaking in the House of Assembly today, Mc Kie encouraged Vincentians and the visitors alike to visit the site in Georgetown where the rum is produced and be educated on the process.
They now have a rum tour that they conduct, and this is going to add to our experience to the visitors that we offer each year. A significant achievement for the St. Vincent Distillers. Mr. Speaker, I want to say St. Vincent and the Grenadines may be small in size, but we are certainly not insignificant.
Former Calypsonian Clement Baha Lawrence celebrated his 100th birthday today. At Lawrence's residence, where the celebration was held, Kenneth Vibrating Skakes Aline said the Centurion contributed significantly to the Calypso art form in this country.
Mr. Lawrence was once a Calypsonian like myself, and many others who have made great contribution. He would have contributed to the art form of Calypso in a great way before our time. They were the forerunners to what we now know as the modern Calypso era. He would have come before people like Mighty Sparrow, before the people like Kitchener, and all these, because those guys, you know, Kitchener went out at 78 around there, and Duke went out at about 77 at years of age, and he's making 100, which means he outlived them by far.
Aline said he's inspired by Lawrence's work and other persons should be proud of his accomplishments.
Our century is a hard thing to come by in terms of sports, and in culture, he has made it. Like other people like Dada Koizak and so on who had made it last year. he is so fortunate, and he is blessed by God to reach this milestone in his life. I want to say on behalf of Calypsonians and the persons who are here today, that is a great honor for the Calypsonians. When we sat in the meeting last night, we mentioned his birthday, and we were able to come here this morning and have a little fellowship with him and do a little reflection.
Meanwhile, Calypsonian Granville Sunblaze Finley said this country is celebrating a great moment in its history with the 100th birthday of the former Calypsonian. Finley recounted his memories of Baja in his earlier days.
This is a veteran Calypsonian Baja I've known a very long time ago. Of course, I met him in a ring. I went and staged in 1959. I was writing before, but there is where I met him. Other people like P.T. Caribbean Pete, and he was a star wrestler and the art form. Many would have known him, and he had done his best.
Experiencing the power of God, that's the theme chosen for SVG Gospel Fest 2014. The month-long gospel celebration, which was instituted here in 2003 and is into its 12th year, will run from April 13th to the 27th. The festival will open on Sunday, 13th of April at the Victoria Park with the Power of God, a major gospel concert featuring international gospel singer Judith Gale out of Jamaica. Minister of Culture Cecil Mc Kie is expected to declare the festival open. The 2014 festival will climax on Sunday 27th with the National Gospel Showcase at the Victoria Park. This will feature the top performers from the various zonal showcases held around the country and international gospel singer evangelist Marva Providence from Canada. SVG Gospel Fest, which has become a major event on the national calendar, was developed to provide exposure for local gospel artists and create a greater spiritual awareness of God in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.